Man, Deer Creek is awesome. It's like when you're sitting under the sun, super hot, wanting nothing but relief and water and fun. Whatever you're picturing in your mind right now, it was better than that.
That's the most refreshing thing in the world, right there. Best shower I think I've had in at least 2 weeks.
We got there at like 11:30 or something.
Yeah.
So we had like 5 hours just to play and relax. And we've had no like rest days up until this point.
We're SROM, Solid Rock Outdoor Ministries. We've spent the last 30 years training people to be leaders in the wilderness. This time, we're taking a group of SROM veterans on their own course into Red Rock Canyon and the remote Grand Canyon to go deeper and live 15 days in the wilderness.
Get up, we'll fight the darkness right beside you day in, day out. Forget the days behind us now. You are here to stay out.
I'm ready for the adventure.
Here are our stories in the canyon.
My first experience is really sleeping outside. We're not positive. I don't like bugs, terrified of snakes. Just knowing like the moment I go to sleep, I'm at the mercies of nature. It's just a reality that, yeah, I could wake up with a scorpion on top of me, and that's just life.
It was night, it was dark, everyone's asleep but Robbie and I, one of the camera guys, and we were setting up our sleeping pads and areas, and he taps, he tried to get my attention. I look at him and his eyes are like super big, and like just pointing like really dramatically at this thing on the ground. And I look and my eyes like match his, and I'm like, holy cow. And we just see this scorpion just like lying right by his sleeping pad, and that's like not what you want to see or experience like right before you lay your head down to sleep. And then we're like, we should catch it so that it doesn't crawl on us. He quick runs and grabs his food bowl, and then he puts it on it, and then it's like freaking out, of course, like, and there's cracks in the ground because it's all uneven, so it like gets out, crawls on his sleeping pad, and we move it off, and it was all trying to be done silently without like the panic, and we were like laughing panicked, you know, where you're really panicking but you're laughing because what else do you do? And then Robbie set up his tent, and I was like, and I'm resigned to just sit out here on this cliff. But it was also fun because we're like, this has got to be the only scorpion in this canyon, so we're fine. So you just tell yourself those things to like be able to sleep.
Alright, so am I cutting? And that, people, is Southwest. Never dealt with that one before.
We have cinnamon roll. Ah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Yeah!
By far, my favorite meal this trip so far has been the cinnamon rolls.
We're gonna make cinnamon rolls with an orange ginger glaze, and it's gonna be beautiful.
Good morning.
Did you have a nice sleep?
I did. We're just chilling, making some scones.
They're not pretty like they normally are, John, but
They're not pretty.
normally I make them in a perfect triangle, and they're beautiful.
Sipping coffee. It's decadent out here.
How you
It's
doing?
a beautiful morning here in the canyon.
Yep.
The key to baking out here is this half resting on the pot, half over the stove method. Then you just keep an eye on your watch, and whatever time you set, once that time comes, just give it a rotate.
That right there. Yeah, buddy.
Most of it was just like bumping into people on the trail. Like people stop shooting, like
Just a little longer.
on grass.
All right, which cinnamon roll do we want to give to the camera crew?
The broken one.
Oh yeah.
30 pieces.
You have a bowl, camera crew? We got a cinnamon roll for you.
We decided to do a communion on this course, which isn't something we typically do on a SROM course, but definitely wanted to kind of take it to the next level for the alumni. I should have everyone's mugs prepared. I'm gonna pass around the bread.
I think it was a really bonding experience, like as a community of God. And even in scripture, and you see like the passion of Christ, right? How he came and died and said, partake with me in who I am, in my body, my blood, remember me. And then when you're in community, live this out.
I think I saw a change in the community after that night, because everyone at that time on the course was going through some people, some intense stuff individually, but kind of like, let's take what the Lord is doing in us all individually. How is that working in us as a community? And doing the communion Devo really kind of brought that extra layer of togetherness to light. You know, for whatever reason, the Lord put Chelsea and I as leaders in the community. We've talked about it, how humble that makes us, you know, like, wow, the Lord shows us, you know, when there's students on this course that easily couldn't like even instruct this. Just brings you to a place of we can just serve them, you know, love them and serve them. So that's what we did that night. We did a foot washing.
We split off into the girls and guys, and we washed, like I washed the girls' feet and Keith washed the guys' feet.
I was really uncomfortable, honestly. Like, I did not want Bubs to wash my feet. I felt so unworthy. But I remember God saying just like, you are unworthy, but you're worthy because I say you are. And I think just sitting there was really the outward showing of what God was saying. You are unworthy, but I'm gonna wash your feet anyways, and I'm gonna love you in this way.
None of the girls in my group had their feet washed before, even though they all were alumni.
And so it was really profound and impactful. And
sitting there and watching her do that, I was the last person that she prayed for and washed feet.
And I went down the line and I heard like sniffling or like crying, and I noticed that Callie was like crying.
I haven't seen that kind of service. Just thinking about how Jesus did that for his disciples and knowing that he was going to be betrayed and just how selfless that was and how intimate that is. I've struggled with intimacy in my life. Just a very like intimate thing for have someone wash your feet, especially with what we've been doing.
And just this idea how like feet in like the Old Testament is representative of like intimacy, and when we let Jesus like be our servant and be our leader and like wash us and cleanse us in places of deep intimacy, from that, then you look into the New Testament and where feet are oftentimes like this symbol of like purpose and like movement and just like how like when Jesus heals us in like intimacy, then he leads us forth in purpose. And I just was so struck by that as I was like washing these women. I'm like, they let me like understand them, and I've heard their stories, and I've cried with them on this course, and they've allowed me to see their wounds and their lies and their like joys, and all of that has just been such a gift. And that's intimacy of community. And from that place, like as I can serve them in that, like I pray and I hope it goes forth into purpose. And I just was like so struck by that in a new way as a leader on this course.
That selfless act and just seeing her totally being a servant to us for this trip, it's been a pretty significant thing for me.
Yeah, it turned out to be a beautiful night.
I'm really happy they chose to do something like that on this course, because it's not every SROM course that happens, but I was really grateful for it.